Hi, Bhuvan. I am Sanjeeva, once again with you with the Mirror program from STV. So, today we are going to start our conversation from the point we stopped in the last location. So, I know last time we kept lot of questions in your mind. So, to sort out these questions, once again we invited Mr. Veerakon to STV. And let's check with Mr. Veerakon what is his other ideas, other concepts about tourism industry in Sri Lanka. I want Mr. Veerakon.
I was Sanjeev.
So I read in Daily Financial News Times, you had again created another interesting article, dark tourism. So what is this dark tourism? Is this something about dark side of Sri Lanka, or are you going to promote something illegal in Sri Lanka? Please explain this.
Yeah, very good question. Thank you very much for inviting me for this program. Dark tourism, there are another words called grift tourism or black tourism. That's the meaning, wordings for this. So it started this concept in 1990s, in between 1990 and 2000. So basically, it's nothing related to illegal, something like prostitution or casino or any other, unethical or, whatever the things against the culture. It's not something like that. So example, what it does is, in a country, it selected the situations or the areas or or any other people who are suffering with death, poverty, and any kind of some kind of near-death experience. So I can give you a couple of examples. If you take Japan, it's Nagasaki and Hiroshima. After this, this bomb happened in Second World War. Or maybe in India, in Calcutta, this how poor people are suffering. And in Sri Lanka, there were, two occasions we could promote this. It's called soon after the tsunami train, and how it's affected this tidal waves to Sri Lankan community, general public, their businesses or their lives, trains, public transportation, railway transportation. Or in another case, this 30 years civil war with LTTE, once it finished, once we eradicate the terrorism in Sri Lanka, that was the time we could bring these concepts to Sri Lanka. So that's what actually called black tourism, dark tourism, or grift tourism.
Okay, so really interesting. So this is looks like something new concept in Sri Lanka. So what do you think? How to convert this new concept to our traditional tourism? Or, for example, when a guest walk into the hotel, what happened? One of our vehicle bring him straight to the reception front area, and he has to walk only around maximum 100 meters to the reception, just checking in like that. So what can a guest expect from this concept?
The thing is, in Sri Lankan context, this black tourism or dark tourism, you can't implement as itself, because the two different scenarios or two different opportunities already missed. One is now we don't have any LTT issue, and all these things has been recovered. Now the country is civilized or country is settled, and even tsunami, whatever memorials has been now is already expired. Now it's not like that. That is why when I wrote this article to Daily Financial Times, what I did, I changed it to a Sri Lankan concept where what guests really need. For example, both of us are having mobile phones. You are also having a mobile phone. We are having 3G connections. Every time we are connected to internet, Facebook, Twitter, all the social media, as well as emails, WhatsApp, wherever. So if we check into a hotel, the very first thing what we will do, we will take 1,000 selfie photos, and we will change the status. I check into this place with my family, with my girlfriend, or something like that. So my question is, are we really enjoying? Or are we just impressing someone else, or the general public, or your friends, colleagues, or whoever, other people, what you are doing? So are we really enjoying? That is why I will explain throughout this program. It will take few minutes for me to explain. So that is why I wrote in this article. This need to be something we should give the real relaxation to a particular guest. That's why I wrote this concept. I mean, how to modify it, how to comply with Sri Lankan. So what we need to do, we have to select a remote location, and the location is, I mean, the free-form industrial sounds, vehicle sounds, and all these artificial or industrial disturbances. Then you have to walk few kilometers, and there will be no signals or no mobile signals, not even, you can't have the access, no emails, nothing. Then only way of communication will be satellite phones. Then it's like the country which is around 1950s or maybe 1930 to 1950, without electricity, without water, without having sophisticated modern facilities, something like that. How to have a real relaxation. That's where black tourism coming into the picture.
So what do you think? Is it doable? Mr. Vilakon, if someone asks this question, is it doable? Because it is look like a big challenge. And do you think tourists like to take that challenge?
Of course, I mean, if since both of us are in the tourism industry, or both of us are hoteliers, you are in moreover in back office operations, same like me, we are not in front end, we are in the back of the house. So we have how many guest requests, how many inquiries you have seen in your career? So you know what guests are expecting when it comes to, I mean, unless it's honeymooners who like adventure type. So people who are in mid 40s, mid 50s, they like more relaxation. I mean, they don't have that much of energy like teenagers. How to do, I mean, jet ski, whitewater rafting, hot balloons, things like that. So I believe there are guests. If you can advertise and if you can capture the guests properly, there are ample guests who can do that.
Yes, actually, it is a must to do changes in our tourism trade. So at the moment, our regional competitors are India and Maldives. So what do you think? What are the advantages we have to compete with them to go forward with this concept?
Yeah, the thing is now, you know, there are two leading non-government organizations and especially donors who are in a link. There are two leading organizations. One is Lions Club International and other one is Rotary Club International or Rotarians. So all the rich people who have reached up to a certain level in the Maslow's theory of need, I mean, who have completed their basic needs, and they are expecting something from the society and they would like to give something to the society. In Lionism, we called it where there's a need, there's a lion, or we called we serve. So people like that, if they see these poor people, how they are suffering in Calcutta, how they are suffering without electricity, basic needs, there's no library, there are no basic, I mean, shoes and proper uniforms for the school kids, don't you think they will donate something? It's just peanuts for them. So that's where the emotional aspect, so emotional components of a human being come into the picture, and you emotionally motivate them to donate something to the society. That's where the arguments coming. It's not ethical to, I mean, even though it's some people argue it's not nice you to get something from the rich people, and because you are discriminating or you let your society environment down with these people. But I don't believe, if some people, rich people, if they like to donate something to the society, why don't they? So that's where dark tourism coming to the picture.
Okay. normally our Sri Lanka roughly room rates are like $100 to $300, $400 per night. But I don't think with this concept we can't go with that such a rate. Maybe the rate will be a little high. What do you think?
If you take Maldives, there are only 3 ways. There are no roads. The only way is that you have to travel. You have to travel 3 unique ways to travel to your final destination: either speedboat, or domestic flight, or a seaplane. So the average cost start from $200 to $500, $600, and the average room rate started from $300 to $18,000, $20,000. Four Seasons, Anantara, Jumeirah, then Shangri-La, all the Hilton, Radisson Blu, all the high-end Shangri-La, all these places. Maybe it's half board or BB, bread and breakfast, or room only. Maybe it's a full board. But people are willing to, because people having that much of spending capacity. But the thing is, you should not think yourself, if we price this much, people will not reach to our resorts. No, it's something coming from people who don't have experience in the industry. That's what I highly believe.
So sounds like it's really interesting. So but I think as for your concern, so this is not for the typical tourist. So this
No,
is
it's not for typical tourist.
Okay,
It's
so
for some kind of niche market.
okay, so that means we can't survive with the traditional marketing techniques. So what is the marketing strategies you are looking for?
Okay, then I can cross question you now. This is 2021. So let's say the war finished in somewhere in 1990 or maybe 1995. Let's say whatever the year. So what's the development we have gained? Has the industry gone up? Has it contributed to the GDP as a percentage wise? Or is this segment generating any adequate foreign reserves or revenues or balance of payment, any contribution to the industry? Or are we getting some kind of poor guests from all over the world? Why? If you check the dollar rate in Maldives, is $1 equivalent to 15.42 Maldivian rupiah. How much in Sri Lanka now? I think yesterday, as per the central bank reports, is around $1 is equivalent to 200 rupees. So what's happening? The currency is depreciating. Currency is diminishing. The value of rupee is depreciating drastically. So where we are? So where are the figures? We have to talk with figures, Sanjeev.
Yes.
We have to talk the bottom line, and we have to discuss with the facts and figures and how much we are gaining. Okay, moreover, I work last 10-15 years in overseas. Why? There should be some valid reason me to work in overseas because of my salary, service charge, and other perks and facilities. So can Sri Lanka hotels or high-end hotels, can they afford that? Or what is the average service charge of a hotel? It's peanuts.
Yes.
So who will work for this lower income? Because people having so much of personal goals to achieve, and they need to support their families, they need to support their colleagues. So don't you think even if you get a proper chance, definitely you will travel to whatever the country for a good salary.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. That's the truth. That's the bitter truth.
Exactly. So looks like you made a lot of researchers regarding Sri Lanka tourism development. So what do you think? What do you suggest to somebody who want to do researches? Or do you have any ideas in your mind to do more researches? What are the areas you should go for with the research thing?
So always I compare Sri Lanka and Maldives. The next research, if someone need to do, the best research need to do is to attract the people who need special attention, who are, I don't say cripples or people, some other words. I would put my word as people who need special attention or special needs, special requirements, wheelchair access. An ordinary person, he can't travel in Maldives because in the seaplane, no domestic flight or speedboat. So in Sri Lanka, we will have ample resource, opportunities to cater those guests. If you really think about that, then they may be high-end people, so they will pay whatever the premium price. So do you think an ordinary hotel, the reception, then the main restaurant or a swimming pool or any other place, at least a wheelchair can have the access? Don't you think it's don't you think something is wrong with that? Because once I did, when I was doing the research, I went through Google Scholar. Then I saw one PhD, now he's a doctor now. During his PhD, he has written whether Thailand is, having any kind of strategy to extract or absorb the special needy guest. So I need to ask we need to ask the same question from ourselves, whether are we capable of doing that? So during your career with your organization, how many people have requested these things? Well, what you simply do is you just ignore them. Am I correct?
Yes, correct. So, my dear viewers, I think you heard a lot from Mr. Virapon, and I'm really suggesting you to go and check that newspaper article. You can find it from Daily Financial Times, and he gave a lot of explanation regarding his newspaper article, and gave a lot of new ideas how to develop Sri Lanka tourism industry. Okay, so the dark tourism. So actually, I think it is something we have to do because we need a change. Same time, we are going with new concepts. So what do you think about our current situation? So what we do actually as travels or tours in Sri Lanka. For example, you are taking someone to, for example, Pinnavala. So you just let them to take pictures with them. Like far away. And so what do you think? Is there any way we can go a little forward with that situation? Or maybe, for example, when we are traveling on the way, maybe to Anuradhapura, we stop by paddy field and we just show them, okay, this is paddy field, like that. So is there anything we can do other than this?
The thing is, there are two things of that. One is we have to just simply ask from the guest, not as a big questionnaire, as a guest feedback. What do you expect? So simply you can ask. During their departure at the airport, when they have at least 1 or 2 hours to check into their destinations, you can have a chit chat with them, someone who are knowledgeable, and they have to take notes. So what do you think regarding your stay? Did you satisfy regarding your stay? Do you think, can you give us your honest opinion, or can you write something in TripAdvisor? So those things need to be compiled and send it to government or some kind of tourist development bureau, or at least your resort manager or your marketing development manager. Then only you will understand, okay, we may think just in Sri Lanka it's like tour we are doing a tour operating role. We just plan it according to the number of days, and we will show you, okay, this is Temple of Truth, this is Ruwanali Mahasaya, this is some other place, this is Pinnavala, okay, this is a river, this is a tank, and all these ancient places, Sigiriya, Dambulla. So you need to ask the question from the paying guest whether they are satisfied or what are their expectations. So without knowing your customer, how can you serve to them? So I don't think any feedback sessions, I don't think any dialogue, interaction between the guest has been done. If you take even a TripAdvisor, what I have seen is Sri Lankan people they have never heard, some people have never heard the TripAdvisor website. Most cases, most hotels, other places hasn't been listed in TripAdvisor. So how do you expect to get the feedback? Generally in a hotel, there's a feedback form, or there are people who call the guest relation officers, GROs. What their role is to get the feedback from the guest, and based on their feedbacks, you mention in the website, or you put it in a database like Opera. That's a very sophisticated front office software in hotel industry. So you can, under their names, under their passport number, you mention everything. Then if they are a repeater, definitely you know what their expectations. So next time you can serve them better. Otherwise, we may think that this is what they're supposed to get from our point of view. But how can you decide that on behalf of the guest? That's my biggest concern.
Yeah, actually, currently, most of travel agents, they have this type of habit.
Packages or something like.
No, this type of habit means guest comment sheet, for example. So there are areas to comment from the guest. But actually, what happens? Travel agent, after he finished the tour, he only worried about drivers comments and the hotel comments only. But there is an area to write his personal comments, and nobody's checking, but it is not going forward from there. So you think and you are suggesting to they need someone to follow that comment, and someone need to go take it forward. Is it?
Yeah, I will tell you another thing. In Maldives, 40% are repeaters.
Huh.
That's the destination in the world who are having the highest number of repeater guests. What do you think?
Exactly.
So then we have to do the same analysis, and we have to calculate ourselves what's the percentage of repeaters we have. Maybe he will come for once, and that will be the last. So some big gap is there.
Yeah.
That's the question.
Okay. Now, actually, currently, if we take the current situation, we have to go forward. We have to take the tourism forward with the COVID-19. So now we have to change our all itineraries. So what do you think? What do you suggest? How to go forward with the?
Yeah, based on these regulations, now we should not have the criteria, so benchmark based on our own experience. Now we have to see Maldives already started their tourism, and how they do the PCR test before the guest arrival, all these benchmarks or general accepted principles. So based on that, we have to take the points. You have to take the ideas from the other destinations, and then only you have to implement those ideas, not as an individual isolated destination. That's what I believe.
Okay, my dear friends, we spent another worthful half an hour with you, and I hope you had very interesting ideas from Mr. Virakon. I'm once again suggesting you to go back and check his, see his TV newspaper articles in Daily Financial Times. Once again, we will meet again with another session. Until then, wish you a good luck and Aiboan.
Aibo.
Aiboan.